Welcome to this explainer. Okay, if you close your eyes right now and picture ancient North America, what exactly do you see? I'm guessing it's probably not a sprawling, bustling metropolis with giant pyramids, right? Well, today we are going to completely shatter what you think you know about pre-Columbian North America. We're going to explore a forgotten world that's been hiding literally right beneath our feet.
It's a pretty jarring contrast. For generations, the popular myth of early America has been one of a vast, empty wilderness. We think of the Wild West, the Founding Fathers, or European settlers like Christopher Columbus arriving on pristine shores. But the reality? The reality is absolutely staggering. Long before George Washington, long before Columbus ever set sail, the American landscape wasn't some empty wilderness at all. It was actually home to a massive, ancient indigenous metropolis, right in the heart of North America.
Section 1. The Forgotten American Metropolis. Let's dive right into this ancient wonder. So, to really understand this lost civilization, we have to travel way back in time. We're talking around the year 1050 AD. Thousands of people gathered along the rich, fertile banks of the Mississippi River near present-day Illinois. And they didn't just build a small camp out there. No, they built permanent homes, sprawling road networks, bustling markets, and massive earthen pyramids known as mounds. In doing so, they established Cahokia, which very quickly grew into the absolute largest city north of Mexico.
20,000. That number is just incredible. At its absolute peak, historians estimate that over 20,000 people lived in Cahokia. To put that into perspective for you, at that exact same time in history, this North American city was actually larger than major European cities like London or Paris. It was a true mega-city of the ancient world, completely thriving with life, noise, and innovation.
Part 2. Building a prehistoric marvel. Let's look at the sheer engineering power of this place.
The absolute centerpiece of Cahokia, really, the beating heart of its skyline, was this colossal structure we know today as Monk's Mound. Now, this wasn't just a big hill. It was a carefully engineered, massive earthen pyramid that completely dominated the landscape. It was the focal point for the entire civilization, and honestly, it remains, to this very day, the largest prehistoric earthwork in all of North America. And when I say massive, I mean it. 100 feet. This astonishing pyramid rose nearly 100 feet into the air. Just imagine standing at the base of a modern 10-story building. That is the exact scale of the earthwork that was looming over the central plaza of Cahokia.
But here's the real kicker: the staggering human effort it took to actually achieve this. Think about the technology they had in 1050 AD. There were no modern machines, no bulldozers, no beasts of burden pulling carts, zero cranes. This entire massive city, including that 10-story towering pyramid, was built completely by hand. Workers would dig the earth, load the soil into hand-woven baskets, and then carry those baskets across the city, dumping them out one by one. It is just a breathtaking testament to human cooperation.
Which brings us to Section 3, the beating heart of trade. Let's look at how far their influence actually reached.
You see, Cahokia wasn't just existing in a bubble. It was a major hub, a thriving center of culture, power, and commerce. Artifacts discovered by archaeologists show us that people traveled hundreds of miles just to reach it. Merchants were trading goods from incredibly distant lands, proving that Cahokia was the beating heart of this vast, continent-spanning trade network. It was kind of like the New York City of its day, drawing in people, ideas, and resources from all across North America.
But then, things take a dark turn. Chapter 4. The Great Disappearance.
The timeline of this mystery is so sudden. Just think about how fast this happened. You have a city that practically exploded into existence and was flourishing in 1050 AD. But by the 1400s, way before European explorers had even mapped the coastline, the city stood completely empty. All that was left were these giant mounds covered by grass, just silent reminders of a lost world.
And the decline wasn't just a slow shift in power. It was a total, absolute collapse. After centuries of continuous growth, the population rapidly and unexplainably dropped. Once vibrant, bustling neighborhoods were completely abandoned. Those massive basket-by-basket construction projects permanently halted. The people who built this prehistoric marvel were simply gone.
So why did Cahokia vanish? Because they left absolutely no written records behind. We are left to ask this one massive, glaring question. How does a powerful, influential civilization of over 20,000 people just pack up and disappear? Well, for centuries, nobody knew for sure, but today historians have lined up quite a few suspects for the collapse. The theories range from severe environmental disasters, like sudden climate change, crippling drought, or devastating flooding from the Mississippi River. Then you have the deeply human factors. We're talking rampant disease, severe political unrest, resource shortages, or maybe violent conflicts between neighboring communities. Actually, many experts now suspect it might have been a perfect storm of all these catastrophic problems hitting at once. The complete truth, sadly, remains pretty uncertain.
Finally, Section 5, Uncovering a Lost Legacy. Let's see how we're finally finding the truth.
When European settlers later arrived in the region and found these enormous mounds, they had no clue who created them. In fact, a lot of them couldn't even fathom that indigenous peoples built these structures. They made up these wild theories, assuming they were built by some unrelated mythic lost civilization. But modern archaeology has firmly proven otherwise. We now know definitively that the city was built by Native American ancestors, indigenous peoples whose architectural and societal achievements easily rivaled the greatest ancient civilizations anywhere on Earth.
And you know what the most exciting part is? We're still discovering its secrets today. New technologies are peeling back the soil without even lifting a single shovel. Advanced imaging is revealing hidden structures buried deep underground, allowing us to finally begin piecing together the true story of the thousands of people who once ruled, lived, and traded here. Every new scan, every new artifact, it brings us closer to understanding one of America's oldest and most fascinating chapters.
Before New York, before Washington, there was Cahokia, a city that completely dominated North America and then just faded into the earth. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you pondering this haunting final thought. How can a city larger than London disappear without leaving its story behind? It's a huge mystery and a beautiful reminder of the incredible, fragile history resting right beneath our feet. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey, and keep questioning the world around you.